mate, how strong is that intro? Like, does that not make you want to just body slam someone like 1996 WWF?
People.
Like,
kissing
giving
biceps and shaking the top rope.
Giving it
Ultimate Warrior stuff.
Do you know what we could do? We could be like the Bushwhackers. Do you remember them?
I remember.
Yeah, Halloween. We go in as the Bushwhackers, right? Because I'm that little bit shorter, I get to be the battering ram. So it's just more convenient, isn't it? How have you been, good sir?
Son? I've been fantastic. How about your good self?
I mean, things have changed, haven't they, for us?
I mean, that Hollywood life is just,
it's absurd. I'm wearing masks everywhere I go. Listen, I'm not listening to anyone. I've been made to be famous. When you're as talented as we are, literally, there's no time to be humble. Just F everyone. And the only reason I'm not swearing already is because I've read that we have to keep the language PC for the first 5 to 10 minutes, and that really helps things. That is right. So basically,
culturally, as an Australian, that is genetically hard for me, but I'll do my
genetically
best.
And culturally. But yeah, in and of itself, this is the life that I think we were made for, and I will forget everyone who's helped us get here.
I should say, however, deepest apologies to your good self and our tens of followers listening for my rapid mic drop exit. Like, I've done my talk. That was actually connection problems. I apologize to everyone. I wasn't like
the swarm of three were livid. Yeah. Speaking of the swarm of three, if everyone that listens, if they could like, subscribe, review on iTunes and Spotify, it really helps us. And to follow in trend with everything else got going on, we will be doing a giveaway for people for the best review, one for Spotify, one for Apple podcasts, and it'll probably be a solid prize. We'll be throwing hundreds of pounds at this prize, like literally hundreds of pounds, actual hundreds. Right, it's a prize worth
not
winning.
Monopoly money, actual money.
Before I forget, intro tune was made by Real Chill Mosh. Thank you very much. He's going to be smashing out a few of them.
Big up, son. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, thank you for the mosh. So should we do some more patting of ourselves on the back? Because out of the 4 that were spoken about, that was 4 and 0, 4 picked.
Right? Did we get to the 5th? Because I know we were like, on the picks, it was across the board undefeated. We are your now go-to gambling. No, we're not. Totally not. I accept no responsibility for losses.
I've literally successfully won money on a fight once, and that was Hat and Zoo. To be fair, all them years ago.
Oh, can we not talk about that one? Come on.
No, and I think, to be honest, I just literally went on Betfair and just did every round. So but listen, by definition, you win, and that's the end of it.
Right.
Yeah.
But we did well. Seemed to call it well. So good to have boxing back on the televisions.
It was lovely. It felt a little bit like it was in someone's garden at some points.
Oh yeah, big time. But hearing the crack is an experience, right?
Yeah, it was weird seeing the like the double PPE. It was weird seeing like the mask and then the visor. And you know that can't be that reassuring if you're in the corner, because you know there was a few of them boys that immediately pulled that down and just had the visor down. But it was a great show. It worked perfectly. I don't think there was a single. There wasn't anything, was there? It was smooth as. It was delightful.
For sure.
Gil looked strong. Gil looked proper. It just looked calm. It looked strong. I'm not angry at that hair. That's what I truly believe. If you grow up your partner, that's exactly what it would be like. You're going to look like an Aussie microphone with a deep black beard.
You know it, son.
Yeah.
You know it.
How much
can we get that tennis ball look, you know?
Yeah. So what I'll do, I'll grow mine out and then, Donny T it over. I'll just go up the sides and then just swoop it and maybe just bring some at the back, and then I'll just layer it. It's going to be nice. If maybe we should do that on the Patreon. We get 10,000 followers, mate. I'll grow out the sorest comb over and wear it for 6 months. It will be very unfortunate.
All right, we are on that. On that.
That's got to happen. But yeah, Gil looked good. Your boy, the assassin, mate, he just like I felt a little bit sorry for him, you know. Like he just came out, he just bashed the granny out of him, didn't he? Cut. Well, you know when someone has eaten so many uppercuts, when under their eyes are both cut, just ribbons. I felt it just rough. He hurt him and wanted to just
savage.
Yeah. He was and he's so Northern Irish, I can barely understand the word he says.
It's fantastic, right?
Yeah. It doesn't help.
Although I got to say, like, we had the picks pretty much down, except I was saying if Cheeseman can keep it on the outside, but man was there for a ruck as well. He got up inside and great fight. That was,
you know, I wouldn't have been angry if that was a draw. I think with the couple of times that like Eggington was visibly hurt. Like but it's visible, wasn't it? And like Cheeseman got hurt a good few times, but he just kind of it was a bit better. Good fight.
Absolutely,
it was a good fight,
and
it was
that Dalton Smith KO. Yeah, that was a big one. And Wardley. What?
You know what? Right, 4 white collars. I didn't even know he was 4 white collars, no amateur. Look at that. 4 white collars, no amateur, and he went straight in as a pro. Now he's English champ. Big up. Like son. you can't fault that. I wonder how many others have gone down that route.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it can't be many. It can't be many at all that's gone down there. It's he looked good. He looked sharp. He looked fast. He was swinging great combos. He didn't look like he was at that. I can't remember what his name is. Vasily, whatever. He had like a really illustrious amateur career at cruiserweight. Yeah. Like he just looked completely outgunned, outmatched, and didn't know what to do with him. He looked wicked. To be fair, I thought that the main event was a good fight. It was fun to watch, but I thought that was like the standout performance,
mate. And especially with that background, like fair play.
And I didn't even know that really people lived in Ipswich. Did you? I just thought that was a place like Reading and Slough. I just thought they just. I didn't know people lived there. I just assumed it was,
just on the map.
Don't know. Yeah, just on the map. I mean, outside the M25 doesn't really exist for me that much, unless it's completely international. But it was a wicked card.
Absolutely. Big up Eddie again. Thank you, mate.
Yeah, smashed it. Next week, I'm looking forward to that. I think that's a Yas Queen female headline, isn't it?
Yeah, that is the week 2, isn't it?
Yas Queen. Yas. Shout out to the feminists.
Mate, they like these cards get banging. They get banging.
They do. They get incremental. Obviously, the 4th one is pay-per-view, which is a bit dirty. It's a bit dirty, but depends on how much
you sample that crack, they get you hooked, and then it's like, all right, come on,
you
you
moving and moving, mate. It's it was really nice to watch it. I paid up for Sky Sports, like I said to you. That's the first time in 8 years that I've actually been paying for Sky Sports. It's always been on the YouTube channel 2-3 days later. I was like, there's no real rush, But it was a great card. I like the fireworks, right? I don't really like fireworks. I thought they did a good job of that. Yeah. Everything run perfectly. I got told that the farmer who owns the land all around Matchroom HQ is an absolute eccentric lunatic.
Is that right?
And absolutely, he's got something along the lines of 150 acres. He refused to sell and then rent and then allow Eddie to use a little bit more acreage for parking and logistics and things like that. Just refused to do it. He's just like, no, I want to. I just don't want to. Did you watch the Showtime ones?
Mate, can we talk about that fucking uppercut KO? Oh.
He's got 2 first names. And you know how I feel about people with 2 first names, right? They're normally quite hard to trust.
I was going to say can't be trusted, mate. Can't be trusted.
I mean, but there's a reason that these stereotypes exist, right? Only child usually on the offside, and people with 2 first names normally, and I know a few of them. They're all lovely people, but still. But that's got to be KO of the year, isn't it?
Oh, I mean,
how rare is it? Yeah, you don't really see a single shot left uppercut, KO that often. Like, especially one that just, leveled. Why was that ref counting? What was it? What did you think was going to happen?
What did you think was going to? Although, I mean, I think we might be chatting heavyweights later, but with Fury's Undertaker-like resurrection, maybe he was like, "Listen, I saw that fight. Maybe this guy's about to." But
that was a little bit different, weren't it? It's like, geezer, mate.
Like, it's like
that guy was out of it.
And they fought to a controversial split decision previously. So way to
there's no controversy anymore, mate.
Let's not go back there.
There's no controversy. No, that's purely done and dealt with, and bless them for that. It's a little like I quite like the closed studio.
Yeah,
like I like out in the Jardin under the gazebo, obviously. But I like the closed studio. I think it's you hear a lot more. It's like when they do it on the UFC. You hear those. It makes you feel a little bit. I don't want that.
Yeah,
I don't want it at all.
Mate, I remember we had some cracking seats for Triple G when he fought Brook, and we were kind of like 3 rows back, and the sound, that was the first time we this is about as close as I want to get to those punches. You know, forget being on the receiving end of that.
Is it a little bit haunting when he's standing there in the robe with all of the belts?
Oh, too good, mate. Too good.
Is it?
Yeah.
So I would imagine a lot of people just shit themselves when they're just on the other side of the ring for that, because them robes are aggressive, and I've got one. You know that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I at Canelo Triple G, I walked down with like the Kazakh army, like all the supporters came down, and there were plenty of robes about. That was just
You wear those for like birthdays, weddings, Tuesday,
any occasion. Exactly.
They're just any occasion to get the blue and gold out, or the red and green, or whatever. Like there's an accompaniment hat as well that doesn't bode that well, by the way. But yeah, decent. Have you, by any chance, seen the news at the moment, right, where things are stepping back a little bit in the UK, and the P rate is going up, which, as you know, I'm basically like Chris Whitty / Fauci, but of Essex. Okay. What I think we need to discuss openly is what are going to be your plans for when it goes completely tits up and the second wave has taken us all out and we are reverted back to roaming tribes. Now, before you answer me that was a rhetorical question. Let me tell you what you're going to do. You're going to go on xbrain.co.uk, right? You're going to get a load of pre-workout shots, yeah? You're going to get a load of Shroom Tech Sport, and you are going to be cardioed and revved out your nut for when you are protecting your wife, your children, your kinsmen, and an aligned militia crew, okay? That's what you're going to do. Protein is going to be essential, and of course they have that, right? We need to be sharp, and this is your go-to for anything on it, anything X-Brain,
laser focus,
all powerful stuff, right? Now, what we have to be prepared for is that we need to be ready for melee weaponry, okay? Anything, I don't know how to make a gun, do you?
Nah.
Right? So that's what we've got the boys in the Norway, X-Brain, boom, to keep us fueled, because when we have to go and hunt in an abandoned dairy field to feed the tribe, mate, I don't want to do that without being Shroom Teched out of my box.
Mate, we're on that higher level.
Yeah.
Get that laser focus, son.
Yeah. I'm on that new blue one. That one where, mate, turns your whole mouth blue. You are singing, I'm blue, da ba dee ba da da. But yeah.
I'm just shining your Academy Award for product placement, son. Like this is gold star.
The long and short of it is that if you do not want to be swept up by our tribe, you will go to xbrain.co.uk and you will go in on all of the supplements that you want. That will give you that will give you the protection required to not be basically exposed to the 1, 2, 3 of Conan. And as we know what that is, yeah? No one wants to see the lamentation, yeah? No one wants to see people crushed or driven before them. But it will happen. xbrain.co.uk, our first sponsor. Shout out to them. Very happy to have them. Yep, they are going to be working with us in this project and supplying us when things go desperately wrong.
Saving lives when things get mad out there.
Back to real life. How do you feel about Dillian? I mean, look, he's the head of the fight camp card, right? He's on a pay-per-view. He's fighting, a very, very risky fight that if you've been mandatory for 1,000 days, which is an absolute piss take, right? Yes. It's a liberty, and they can do whatever they want trying to, he would have had his shot by now. He's no joke. Dillian's just got better and better and better, and he's fun. Anyone that turns up to a face-off in a purple suit, big. That was so massive. He looked like Colour Me Bad's bouncer, didn't he? He was running it.
Mate, I mean, I tried to Google to make sure this wasn't inappropriate in case Solomon's got some underage daughter, but who is Dillian shagging to get fucked over this badly? I mean, exactly. 1,000 days as mandatory. Yeah. What is going on?
In that time, Fury has drawn and beaten him. Stavern got done. Brazil, was it Brazil? Was he get in that mix as well? Whatever he's done, I don't know if it's because of the weird, the drug pass that he got done for, or the false test that it was before. But let's be honest, they don't mind looking the other way for a couple of others, do they?
Well, yeah.
WBC, that was always the one they used to say it's We Be Crooks, isn't it? They were never really that shy about that. So
mate, when Don King's all up in there, you're like, how much are we trusting these guys? But I mean, that needs to be sorted ASAP. That being said, some tasty unification bouts as well. So I just the man needs his shot, but things get real interesting. That heavyweight picture,
massive. So and to be fair, it's all Matchroom as well. He's all Eddie. Yeah. I know we sound like we're celebrating the man, but he has got it all. He's even got Usyk. He's to me he's the sleeper. He's the one that everyone knows who he is, and he's terrifying and he's funny and all of that stuff. I really think that he's the dangerous one, with the exception of probably Fury, because Fury is just that big.
Yep.
That big, that skilled.
And I mean, I've got to be honest, because I was one of the ones that kind of got swept up in the Fury, just like, oh, come on, easy. And just as time goes by, and also, how can you not love the man for his attitude, what he's been through, that comeback? Just
absolutely.
And I mean, the cure for COVID is in that man's chin. How he got up from that wild shot. Again, fucking.
It wasn't even the first one; it was the second one, wasn't it? It was on the way down. It took his fucking head off.
When you're already flatlined, and there's have another one, son.
Yeah, popped up like the Undertaker. I don't care about what they're talking about, slow count, all that shit. He got up, he done it. Yeah, Deontay was also talking about away with a draw.
He's got in his gloves. Come on now.
That's hate. That. Did you see the ITV 2-part around Christmas of the Furies?
Yeah.
That was wicked as well, wasn't it? Truly. Imagine being 7 foot, right, and the Gypsy King, and having a traditional Romany gypsy caravan in the garden that when you're feeling bad, you go and sit in it. That's got to be our sponsorship top.
I was about to say,
yeah.
We'll work our way up, man. We want that big throne.
Yeah. If we can do it and attach it to your bike, we're going to be in a good spot. We just do it as the mobile studio. But yeah,
there's life goals right there, son. Life goals.
We got Dillian. Dillian, I think, causes any of them problems. Yeah, I think Dillian versus Usyk is an amazing fight to watch. Yeah,
Ooh,
AJ, I think gives Fury a lot more problems than we expect. I think I really like Deontay. I find him fun. I think he's interesting. I think he's. I mean, anyone that screams Bomb Squad, come on now. Like he is delicious. He comes in with epic tunes, ridiculous wares. You know, he has that just immense power. He's got plates in his hands where he bends his hands from just bashing it on people's muri. Like, all good. I don't know how he does now. He may be one of those classic stories of when when that first loss has happened.
Yeah. Invincibility's gone.
Yeah, but it happened that way. Yeah. Right. It wasn't like
it's that proper Buster Douglas style.
He fucking ironed him. He beat him. He smushed him. He roughed him up. He was like, there's no way you go away from that and think, I've probably got him next time around. Like that was a complete fucking beating.
Although no one we can't forget, it was the costume. So next time,
it was the costume. It was the costume. Yeah, and we can't also forget the many videos of him training in a 20-kilo vest, doing dips, skipping, doing battle ropes, doing pads, running, but walking in the sub 20-kilo outfit, knackered him, and that's all good.
I mean, it's not carrying around an almost 7-foot dude that's leaning his body weight on you.
No.
I think that's important to remember. So next time,
again, maybe get the 30-kilo vest next time. Yeah, get the 30 kilo and you're good to go. Maybe some ankle weights. Go down Sports Direct. Get the 5 keys. Get the 5 keys. Do a little bit of high knees. Job done. Right. AJ. Right. Like anyone that doesn't love AJ, anyone that's an AJ hater, of which my cousin is an AJ hater, he always has been, but then he's also been like a massive Fury fan since day one. Anyone that's an actual AJ hater, it's just hard not to like him, isn't it?
100. And it's like AJ looks like if the Frankenstein story was around now, not back where you had, like, there was no technology using like shitty parts. If you had like high end, just had to build the perfect human, that's looks like he's made of granite. Fucking nicest dude, like really was such an ambassador for the sport. And I don't think it needs, because it's great to pick your team, but the way that heavyweight roster is, you can love all of them. You know what I mean? And it's
you can comfortably.
And like, I mean, let's do a bit of a critique. Like, let's talk about how they'll match up against each other. Obviously, you know.
Wait, before you go into this, I have a question for the class, right? Deontay, AJ, who's got a bigger whip? Because I would theorize that probably Deontay has probably got the bigger piece because he is so thin and so boaty and screams so much. Like you almost expect AJ to be holding something like Barry from the Corona meme, right? You just expect it, right? That is something that I'd be willing to really see sort itself out on pay-per-view. That's my main question, like because the others, like I reckon Dillion's got a handsome unit. I wouldn't even be shocked if Usyk's got one of them just bratwursts. But it's between AJ and Deontay, just purely for their size and swag. AJ's really soft-spoken. You know, they're normally the ones, aren't they? So you were saying, right? Go on.
That's what I was saying with Mousasi. Gegard Mousasi fights in the UFC, and I think it was Bert Kreischer.
Yeah, it's like an Evian water bottle, isn't it? Yeah. I believe the term that they used was hammer. Yeah, they described it as a hammer. When you describe something as a hammer, you know what's happening at that point.
Oh,
right?
mate.
But that makes perfect sense. He's Dutch. Yeah. He always looks like you. He always looks like, you know, those Aussie boys that keep pranking each other. You know, when someone does the foghorn when someone's asleep in the middle of the night, right? He literally just always looks like someone's been mucking about with him while he's asleep. Doesn't matter. He's in the middle of a fight. He just looks lemon. He just looks
man.
so pissed. Do you know what he looks like? He looks like how I do with my fucking kids at the minute. Yeah, at all times. That's how he looks. Just deflated, not really that fast. You love
Soul
it.
half gone.
But also half. I got told to go back inside today by my 3-year-old. I went out to check on her to see what she was doing. She just went, "Daddy, go back inside." Right. It just eats at you. Sorry, you were saying.
Rent. It's like, pay the rent, then I'll listen to you. Yeah. So, all right, let's do a bit of critique how they all match up with each other, because everyone's got an opinion. Obviously, we are not heavyweights. We are not saying we would be that. We're just talking how they match up with each other. So if you're a camp, don't write to us, tell us to eat a bag of dicks because we didn't pick your guy. We're just trying to say how they match up with each other, right? So I personally feel, where do we start? Let's go to Dream.
Right.
Fury.
How about this? Look, let me step back, right, and ask you, right? When the dust has settled, when the dust has settled, and in a perfect world, promoters aside, networks aside, everything aside,
we can make any fight we want. Go on.
Who are the ones that has at least 2-3 belts, kind of like as it has been up until very recently? Who are the ones that you see in the final first?
All right, I see. With all the cheese, Fury.
Yes.
I think his versatility causes problems for everyone mixed with his size. He fights like a little man, and he's a fucking giant. Like, he uses
and he's
his size
spiteful as well.
Yeah, and like, because we actually talked on the last with Nas, when we were talking about Nas, we were saying generally people that are up on their toes, they kind of sacrifice the power a bit. Oh my God, man, when he sat on them shots against, and the worst thing was he said the whole time, "Look, I'm going for the knockout. I'm gonna come straight at him." And I thought, he's joking. He's trying to get in his head. When it finished, I just loved the way he's like, "Well, I've been saying the whole time what I was going to do." It's like there is levels to that. He's a big dude. So when he sits on them shots, he's got that. And so obviously there's not the math doesn't always work. So you can't be like the way AJ won over Klitschko means he beats Fury because it's more whatever, right? It doesn't work like that. I think Fury's tools make him a nightmare for absolutely everybody. I see Usyk being up there. We just need to see him in with a big puncher. We need to see him against the heavies, how he handles that. Because
you need to see Usyk with, obviously he needs to get past Del Boy, right? And get past Del Boy in style.
Which is a great fight, by the way.
Amazing fight, right? I don't know where they do that. It won't be in the Garden, though. It won't. It's just no point, right? It's not viable to do that sort of fight in the Garden. To quote a good mate of mine, he said that he would rather, when it was going to be in Manchester before COVID, his exact words were, "I would rather it would be in Kiev," right? Like, because it's just much more viable for everyone. He said, "I'd rather just travel to Kiev and have an experience." Lost your video, dude. There you go. I think that he is the one to watch, like you're saying. What I do want to say though, before you stop on Tyson, is that he has been dropped heavy a few times, and he has always popped back up. And
absolutely,
at no point do you think that he is. I don't. Even when he's been properly hurt, like Steve Cunningham, arguably took his head off. Yeah,
I mean that overhand just fucking
disgusting. Yeah, it was horrific. Like if that, put it this way, if he didn't get up from that, that would have been one of the highlight reel KOs that they show all the time, all the the YouTube knockouts of 20 years, right?
And Wolf, like overhead.
Exactly. Right, but he has never shown vulnerability, right? AJ did against Ruiz,
and that
one
that is
and two.
massive.
The second time, that's huge, right? The second that I mean, even someone like Deontay can see that, and he might be able to just attack and really, really catch him cold and blow him out. you know, it's all well and good knowing that McCracken would have the strategy and they would have trained for it, and they know that realistically, with the exception of Fury, that would be the only one that can give him, because we've seen Whyte. You know, it probably would be a better fight because they're both much better, much more experienced fighters, and Dillian is arguably a different fighter now. But you can't. I don't think you.
That vulnerability, like he needs his confidence back as well.
Yeah.
That lost
Can you hear me?
Am I back?
We're back.
Hey. All right.
Right. We're back.
Get rid of that.
I don't know if we're recording or not. Oh, we are.
Shit.
We are still recording. Right. Well, we'll edit that out when we put the Yeah. So we are still recording. Yeah. The second you see that red in the top right hand corner.
Oh yeah.
Got a problem. Right. Yeah. What were we saying? Oh, yeah. The vulnerability. Like every time Ruiz got close to him, he wasn't holding. He was grabbing. And it was grabbing for dear life. And I don't think with they're fucking just T-Rexes, aren't they, in that division? I think all of them, like especially Fury, the build up to AJ Fury would be sensational.
Yeah, I mean, the conferences, mate, you put a microphone in front of Fury, you got entertainment for hours. But before, because I feel like what you went on then is such a huge point. So let's go on that. So absolutely, the way Fury takes a punch is unrivaled. Like that guy, he's hard to hit, right? The durability, let's not just talk about taking a shot. The cut against Warren, I mean, just the mentality to hang, because you know, oh my God, in this fight that's supposed to, I mean, no disrespect, but essentially just keep you ticking over, a bit of a tune-up. It could, like, if they have to stop this, boom, derailed. You know,
completely
any excuse
derailed.
to be like, well, we don't have to fight him now. He lost to this guy. Forget that. We've seen it happen before. So that mentality, getting up from the shot. I mean, Wilder puts people out. He has that one-hitter quitter, monster power. He's multiple times taken them. He can dish out the shot. Huge. Now with AJ, like such a specimen, but it's easy to remember he's still improving a lot. Like it's just because that meteoric rise, it's easy to think, oh, you know, it's still like relatively new, you know what I mean? So, and there's because he's so big and so strong, people don't want to stand and take that. Obviously, who the hell wants to get hit by that guy? But when they do, they fancy a bit. Like Takam caused problems with the way he was coming forwards, right? Povetkin caused problems when he was coming forwards. Obviously, Ruiz in the first caused and there's that tendency to almost back up, go back into trying to maximize the height, not necessarily particularly efficiently, which could cause massive problems against the bigger hitters. Someone like, I mean, let's just keep it 100% real. I do have the concern in an AJ Fury matchup that if Fury were to outbox him, he might not get the decision. Just keeping it real, I think, yes. I think politically there's the chance. Less so now because of just the way Tyson Fury's popularity has blown up. He's such a great ambassador now as well. It's just, you know, sometimes there's the cash cut. Like Canelo, you're going to have to kill that guy to win on the cards. Do you know what I mean? Even in the Mayweather fight, someone had a draw. It's like, really? I mean, come on now.
That was Adelaide Bird.
Yeah. I mean, gold star judging all the time. Let's not go on that route. We you know. What else was I going to say? So that causes problems. That's what makes the Wilder AJ fight to me fascinating. because they can both be touched and they can both end it quick. So AJ, obviously the more refined, tighter skill. I would argue Wilder has the more one-hitter quitter power. I think
for sure.
AJ has that accumulation effect of just like puts together shots really well. But Wilder, I think summed it up perfectly when he said, they need to be perfect every second of every round. I need to be perfect 1 second. I mean, that Ortiz fight, just the confidence to know, I mean, even if things are not going, boom, and done.
I will say this, right? So Wilder is one shot, you are normally done, or it's this just wild, like melee of shots. He's not it's mad to say that he's not a good finisher, but he's not a finisher in the way like AJ will crack you with
he almost
one. He sees that you're hurt. Exactly. He sees that you're hurt, and then that's it. He will he will. Hey, there we are. We just had a classic bit of technical difficulty there, but we're back and it's all right. We were just saying
turns it on again.
Yeah. It's called the Irish reboot. As you know, I spent many years in tech before I became a PT. I basically built a career on that. Every now and again, what you would also do, because I spent a long time on trade floors, and those guys were a mix of unbelievably smart, but also so stupid you wondered how they remembered to blink and breathe. So what I would do sometimes would be to actually take their machine out from under there, because they would just say it's slow. It's slow. Take the computer out, do a walk of the floor, come and plug it back in, like, yeah, it's all right now.
Oh, sorted out.
It was all right. But yeah, we were saying about the finishers, like Wilder, he's a clumsy finisher, right? He's bludgeoned someone to death. If someone gets back up, they're done. But it's a miracle that they got up in the first place.
I mean, and obviously no disrespect to the man. He world champion.
Far from it.
But you could argue he's a clumsy fighter. Like we talked about previously, like someone that came to you with that form without his power, you'd be like, okay, we got to do some work. But unorthodox as hell. And I mean, if he misses, he'll make that epic meme, where it's almost like a breakdance spinning around. But if that connects, woo! And that's where, exactly like you were saying. So the stoppages, sometimes he almost he fights his own power, Whyte, whereas AJ's a lot more technical, tactical.
Yeah, I think there's also a large element with Deontay that if he cracks you and you do get up, with the exception of Tyson, it doesn't normally end that well. Like he was the only person that got up, looked at him, and bashed the granny out of him the rest of the round, didn't he?
With the everyone else, grandpa shuffle back, like, are you all right?
Yeah, exactly. But then, I mean, you've got, the one to not sleep on now is part of the Canelo camp. It's got to be Ruiz, right? Like he was, anyone that says that they were going for Ruiz the first time, little for a heavyweight, fat Mexican, but then he'd been fighting since he was 5. Fast, he's powerful, technically brilliant, great on the inside, good footwork. He just doesn't look the part.
Yeah,
and he kind of does look the part now, but we've seen this before because he looked like he was shredded on the way to Riyadh, and then he turned up to Riyadh and looked like the Burger King. All right. So if he's with the Canelo knot now and he's training, and because someone like him, you're not teaching them much. You're getting them in shape. You're getting them ready, as opposed to essentially training them. Where someone like AJ and Deontay, they're still learning. Fury's been fighting since he was 12. And he's from a fighting family. He's from a fighting culture. Like it's just part of his everything. It's his life, right? So you know that there's always going to be this gap that doesn't get closed. Where
Ruiz, though, arguably, it's almost like that whole Billy Joe thing where a big part of coaching him is just keeping him on the straight and narrow. You know what I mean? Because a focused Ruiz, oh my God. So like hand on heart, I did not think Ruiz would be the guy to do that to AJ.
No.
But that undoing was what I thought would be AJ's undoing. The kind of lack of head movement, the counter, someone who, like we talk about, with that power, most of the time, people are kind of staying on the outside. Someone that kind of throws caution to the wind, or very tactically the way he did it with that counter, slipping his head off the line. AJ still on the line, and he caught him with those. Like I said, I didn't think he'd be the guy to do it. But the way he did it, and none of that was there in the replay. You know, he was just too heavy. It was, so it's like, which Ruiz are you going to get? Hopefully with the Canelo camp, the one in Riyadh no longer exists, you know, because that's what you need. You can't go all Hollywood as soon as you got. If you want to, I mean, if you want to cash out, be like, look, I won a title. That's all I want. More fair play to you. You've earned it.
I mean, in those two fights, he must have done $25-30 million, right? He's probably earned more money. He's probably earned generational money.
Yeah.
You know, he went into the AJ fight without really a camp. You know, he had a cornerman. He had obviously he didn't have a nutritionist. Obviously, he didn't really have a strength and conditioning trainer. He didn't really have a camp. And he did go proper Hollywood. He appeared on Rogan. He was everywhere. You know, he was the first Mexican heavyweight. Yeah. Or got inked up, you know, even more tatted. Like, you know, he'd done the classic thing, went out, bought a Rolls Royce. Sure.
Yeah.
You know, it might have been a case that, but now maybe where he's, you know, like you and I have never really rolled into the mills, but it's my aspiration.
Yeah, mate.
Rich.
Yeah.
Like I don't. Yeah, exactly. It's all I've ever wanted to be is rich. That's it.
I'm working on the condescension already, mate. You know.
No, I've got that. I'm done. That's genetic. But like once you've made it to that thing, right? He's become world champion. He's become a star. He's made $8 million in the first fight, plus pay-per-view, plus the endorsements, plus this, plus that. Gutted that he didn't walk out to the ring in Riyadh wearing a pair of brand shorts that had Snickers written on it, because I think Snickers missed a trick.
That was the branding opportunity of a lifetime. Right?
Yeah, that was their one and only time to have the heavyweight champion under the banner. They could have done him 2 fights and just bunged him $5 million and just been sensation. But yeah, Ruiz I think is one of the. It's like him and Usyk. If Ruiz is managed and controlled and handled. Which you'd believe that if he's chosen to go to, because he went.
Oh, the Rhinoceros ain't going to fuck about.
Exactly. Yeah. But he went out and he didn't go for like the lesser known Patty. He went out and had chats with Teddy Atlas, right?
Yeah.
Anyone that's going to have chats with Teddy Atlas knows exactly what that's going to be, right? And then he's landed with the Rhinoceros because the Mexican link, everything else, pretty makes him a bigger star in Mexico. It's a smart move.
Yeah.
But if he is that, he is a real.
He's
problem.
already committed. And he's taking it serious. Yeah.
Yeah, you have the 2 champions, then you had this almost flat plateau where you've got Usyk, you've got Ruiz, you've got Whyte, you've got who else we got?
Well, I mean, then if you go down a few rungs, it gets exciting again of the next wave, like Dubois and all that sort of stuff. Seeing how all that plays out. Do you know what I mean?
Dubois,
the timeline is.
I mean, Joe Joyce maybe. Yeah. Like. But no, like Larry was saying that Dubois is special. Like he's part of that Peacock's lot. Larry is like properly pro on Dubois. So I think he said he's never heard him speak. Like the boy doesn't speak. He just lives.
When you can punch like that, you don't need to, mate. Like speaking of specimens, Jesus.
Yeah, Dubois, terrifying. But yeah, the heavyweight ones. The only downside to this massive resurgence at heavyweight is that the other weights sacrifice themselves now, because everyone loves the big guys, right? Even when the big guys were boring, everyone still loved the big guys. Klitschko's are still selling out stadiums, but it gave everywhere else a nice boost.
Yeah,
you know, the lighter weights, like even down to like cruiser. You know, cruiser, like Usyk made cruiser fun. The World Series made cruiser fun. You know, welterweight's been back for a while.
Epic.
Yeah, are they doing another one?
I hope so, man. Because I mean, with COVID, everything obviously is a bit.
But you could do that comfortably behind closed doors.
Yeah, I mean, it's a perfect thing for it, right? Because, and I love too the way they did it, almost like unifying the belts, and maybe wouldn't necessarily got the exposure.
Yeah,
and then you're like, man, there's no way around it. You're gonna have champs fighting champs. It's epic.
It was the Super 6. It was the Super 6 without everyone on flat fee, without everyone having a sway, and like Super 6 was a little bit made up because. Do you remember, like, you know, you had Alan Green popping in for one fight, absolutely murked. You had another geezer just going in for a beer, and then, you know, it was just like, it made no sense whatsoever. Like, wait, Glenn Johnson popped in on the Super 6, and it's like, well, wait, where'd they get you from, geez? I thought you were retired. But yeah, it's good, and it is primarily British, which is excellent. You would hope that spawns on a few more of the international heavies. There's got to be a couple of like terrifying Russians / ex-Soviets, Ukrainians looming somewhere.
Oh, hell yeah.
They've got to be on the way through.
Looking on amateur boxing highlights and stuff, you see some of them big boys throwing down. Like but obviously then the timeline gets pushed a bit unless there's some mad Loma style ascension to the crown.
Yeah.
But you know, it'll take a while to work up, but just the people we got, it's exciting as hell. I mean, it was a big, it took a lot of eyes off, obviously, when Floyd stepped out, Canelo kind of stepped. So around the middle, still you got it. It is sad though that, like, I mean, Inoue, Loma, like the level of these guys, you just hope the following kind of follows suit. And that's why it's good, like we said on the undercard of Tyson, you know, more eyes on boxing. Yeah. Maybe people go, Jesus, look at this guy.
I mean, I think it will, because there was that period in the early 2000s where the UK had 7, 8 world champions, various different weights. And it was like the first big wave. It was when the white collar stuff came through. It was when the first proper wave of white collar gyms come in. To be fair, it was when I started boxing, even in the early 2000s.
Right.
And it wasn't because of that, but the opportunity, like, I'm at work.
Yeah.
There's a little boxing gym there.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Right. That, you know, if anything, that's gonna the whole
well, it goes hand in hand. When the market's there, more places open up, so then you've got more chance of walking into one. You know, like but back in Adelaide where I trained there, you know, you got to be committed to finding a boxing place. It's still not like you're going to walk around the corner and see one. Yeah, you find out where you got to go and you head there. It's great when you can just walk into one. You know, it's great for everybody.
I mean, but that shows you how far it's come as a popular sport now, right? Because, you know, 12, 13 years ago, with the exception of like the early MMA gyms on the skirtings of the city, and I'm only talking about the city of the city of London, right? There was nothing. You know, you might have a fitness first boxer size class.
Yeah.
But now, you know, you've got all of the boutique class ones that not sure really what happens to them in the wake of COVID, but you know, it has become such a mainstream accepted sport, which is great.
Absolutely. And it's good too to have that almost staggered what you're going to get. Like some of the places, you know, you're not going to get zero contact. And if you don't want that, great. You go in, maybe you fall in love with sport, and then you think, oh, I'll go here, I'll go there, and you can progress on. But it's, you know, more entries in, more power.
Perfect. And if the heavyweights are stronger, I don't think that because the talent pool has been so rich, it's going to be a couple of generations before that were to shrink up, should the heavyweights completely come back like in the 70s and the 80s. But even in the 70s and the 80s, you still had the lower weights smashing it. You know, and
for sure.
You know, that they just said Spence and Garcia signed. That one could very well, you know, COVID not delaying us, that could be our first wannabe fight companion.
That one. I like that.
That could be the first one. Yeah.
I like that. Because I mean, what a matchup that is. We'll cover it, but boy, the thing in the 70s and 80s in the golden era, 90s even, is they wanted to fight each other, right? And I know now they do, but there's so much money at stake now that the business often gets in the way. Do you know what I mean? Back in those days, it's not like Tyson said, these guys are businessmen now. We were killers. We fought just because we wanted to. And knock on wood, it's getting to the point where it's almost done a full circle, where now so few people control the business that there's less people to get in the way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you've got your big players, like your Eddies and your Bobs and that sort of stuff.
I mean, to be fair, I think with the zeros gone for AJ and Deontay, it makes them more dangerous.
A lot,
right? It makes them more dangerous. The pressure's off, right? So when you're someone like AJ that's got, I mean, ungodly sums of money coming in sponsorship and endorsement deals. He's got links. He's got Under Armour. He's got fucking. I'm Beats. Sure there's a few watches. Yeah, Beats. Like, he's got cash coming in. He never has to realistically work again a day in his life. You know, the fact that they started, like, he must have thought that everything was going to go the second that zero went. And probably, you know, maybe one or two of them did pull out. But even then, you kind of know exactly what they are then. And you probably step back. You're like, I've still got just immense money. Yeah, I'm fine forever. Like, I'm really gonna have a job to fucking get through all of this cash, and I've still got opportunities, and I'm still doing what I love, you know. And he'll be fine from it. He might become more dangerous. Like, he might have had that one very vulnerable. I have to get through this, because if he had lost that one again, you maybe go all the way back down to the mid tens, and you are on a proper resurgence, and maybe you're always like shaking off. Yeah, you're always shaking off that chinny.
It's like the David Price thing, man. Like, do you remember how touted it was, and then it just boop, up in smoke.
Yeah, I mean, do you reckon they'll wheel him out again? I hope they don't.
Mate, like, he's just one of the. He's so likable. So you want him to get paid, and you want him to do well, but you're like, oh, it's one of the ones you watch like this the whole time, you know?
Yeah. It's just like he's another one where those KOs are never.
Yeah, it's never gentle.
Yeah, the ref is never there to pull someone off. They're always like the thing that the ref is pulling off is sometimes the oxygen mask. Right?
Yeah.
It's bad, and let's maybe hope that, Spence and Garcia, really, really briefly, because we will do a proper one on that one. Obviously, we'll do a proper one on that one. Now, I have a penchant for Danny Swift. I have done, and I always will do. I think that I didn't think that Porter beat him.
Right.
I didn't. Thurman. You know, it was close. Yeah. I wasn't angry either way. I didn't think Porter beat him. And he just is. He seems to always. I tell you who I thought was quite a close one that he got a favourable decision was Lamont Peterson. He seems to hit harder than they expect him to. He's got quicker hands than he seems to fall in
made in hell.
Yeah, but everything he does seems to be in this weird vein where it seems to be where they are very comfortable with what he has until they're not, and then they're just fucking bad.
Well, it's because, like, I reckon they feel the power, or you see the power, and you almost falls into this false sense of security that he can't box, but he's got incredible skill. You know what I mean? It's just got dynamite in his hands as well. So he looks like he's just your typical puncher, but he's a brilliant boxer as well. So when it comes to that, you know, he controls the ring well. He's like solid. He's hard to move about.
He's funny as fuck, and I want him so badly to be best friends with Street Jesus. Like, imagine them two just rolling around. But the old man might get on people's nerves. Like, Angel might have to be put in the back seat.
Do you remember when his old man and Ruben Guerrero's old man were getting just...
Yeah. Again, that would have been beautiful to see. And Ruben probably would have been. He looked a little bit thuggy, didn't he? He looked like he was ready. He was ready to pull out. Bless him. But yeah, that is probably the best welterweight fight. I'm not the bit like Spence is wicked, right? I thought Kell Brook was dealing with him till his face fell off. I had that 7-1 to Kell Brook, and it didn't seem that big of a deal. And I still say you were there for that. I still say Triple G really beat Kell Brook in the Spence fight more so, and Whyte. You know, like, you lose your eyesight. That's a problem.
Yeah, I do feel though Spence. I've had it before where I had a guy in there and you're like, oh shit, my guy's fighting the fight of his life and this guy's just getting started. Spence kind of had that, just like, okay. You know what I mean?
Do you know what? He's got the same expression on his face most of the time as Mousasi.
Exactly.
right? You know what? He's definitely got. We all know what happened to him in that car crash, right? He got flung out. He got flung out of that prancing pony, and I would theorize to say that he may not have been wearing a seatbelt, but he probably had some extra fucking baggage, a little bit of padding around the old schwelz. He's definitely pieced out, and he's definitely got a hammer. He's just always
so he rebounded. That's what saved him, mate.
Yeah, he always looks like he's just woken up.
Opened up like wings,
yeah.
And brought him something.
Always.
Mate, that crash
over the shoulder, over the shoulder and around like a brace.
That is a haunting mental image that's gonna scar me.
Nah, it's a good thing to go to bed to.
But I mean, for real, we'll discuss it obviously. But that crash, no joke, to come back. I mean, that's a hard opponent to be your
Got
comeback
away with just broken teeth. That's all he had was a couple of broken teeth.
So I mean, man must be able to take a lick. You know what I mean? Because he's done fantastically well to not have to show that recently. But he is made of some superhuman stuff, hands and clearly chin. Because how you walk away like that, like Superman.
Yep. And he's one of the On It boys, isn't he? On It, we can comfortably say that we're somehow linked to them very loosely.
There we
via
go.
the Mandem, xbrain.co.uk. Shout out, shameless plugs, and I'm going to plug the life out of it.
Yeah. Constantly and continually, so prepare yourself, people.
Yeah, I think that's everything on my magic list today. What about you?
Yeah, and more.
Yeah?
We done well, mate. Done well.
Everyone, we're not going to do an outro because the intro is so unbelievably strong.
So solid.
Yeah. I mean, he told me that the song is called Fuck Folk Music. So, fine. All right. He had a massive weekend, ripped out a tune. This is what it's called. Here you go. Thanks, mate.
But we are thankful for it.
Thankful for it. Everyone, like, subscribe, rate. It really helps. I'm being sure. It really helps if everyone can just help us get to a stage where our rent is paid by speaking. That's all I've ever asked for. I've always just not wanted to work. That's it, right? And I don't think that's that hard, and I don't think that's that aspirational. I just want to be a sugar baby. That's all I want. Yeah.
We love you,
up and coming episodes. Yeah, up and coming episodes. We got the Edwin Valero one. We're gonna do.
Mate,
we do
I am
Hagler.
literally counting down for that.
Yeah,
can't wait for that.
Yeah, we get that one out, and then from there we'll take it to the polls. Yeah,
sweet as mate.
Big. Right. Speak to you later.
Thank you guys.
Later.
See you later.